Welcome into a very special Giving Day for Apes episode of Sanctuary Stories, a look into Project Chimps, a sanctuary for former research lab chimpanzees. I am Jeremy Kagover, marketing manager of Project Chimps. Every other week, we give you a live look inside one of the three habitats here at Project Chimps. And, we answer your questions as well. So get those ready here on YouTube and on Facebook today. You can put your questions in the chat. We have the wonderful Holly Chadwick moderating for us today, so she can make sure to push those towards our way. We make sure we notice them, and we'll answer your questions as we can kind of work them into the chat as well. Either way, question or not, we're thrilled to have you. And speaking of joining us on the episode, we welcome in Ali Crumpacker, Executive Director of Project Chimps. Ali, thank you so much for joining us today. I know this is an extremely busy day.
Just a wee little bit with a global giving campaign.
For sure. It's today, as global giving campaign, as Ali's about to explain it here. Today is Giving Day for Apes, a worldwide fundraising competition, air quotes. And I wanted to have you on to help explain everything that is Giving Day for Apes. What can you kind of walk us through the fact that Giving Day for Apes is a thing all over the world and what's actually happening?
Yeah, absolutely. Giving Day for Apes, which is put on by the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries, GFAS, supports all of the great ape sanctuaries worldwide. So North America, where we are here, as well as Africa and Asia, all of those sanctuaries that house any of the great apes, including gibbons, which are a lesser ape, but they qualify for this event, are competing for fundraising prizes. So now you can donate to one or all of the charities like ourselves that you are interested in supporting. But your donations also help us enter into prizes throughout the day, all the way until midnight Eastern time here in the States. So it's a super rewarding day. We, our organization is striving to raise $60,000. Thanks to a lot of early donors this morning, we've already raised over $12,000. So we're well on our way to that fundraising goal. Every donation counts, at least $5, that helps with the campaign. But as much as you are willing to support our mission and the chimps here at the Georgia Sanctuary at Project Chimps.
Yes, now today in this yard that there seems to be little to no activity in. It's the Harmony Group. But again, right, this is what we talk about on Sanctuary Stories. It's an opportunity to tell people that you may not see any chimps on the live cams here, though this is a live look inside the South Habitat, because they have the choice to go outside, stay in a climate-controlled area, whatever they want to do. This is the fact that they are in sanctuary and not a zoo, of course, means that they have the freedom to choose what they want to do. And clearly, even though it's a beautiful day outside, Ali, they're not we don't see much activity today.
It's an absolutely gorgeous day. I'm actually standing here at one of the other windows just to see if I can see any chimps here in person, but I don't because like you said, it is their choice. We have these beautiful forested, wooded acres that you can see through this window. And there are over a dozen chimps that could be in this yard right this very second. And none of them are choosing to come up to this window and say hi to me or us today. At the moment, we might see some later because it is entirely their choice. It is their freedom. That is the great part of sanctuary life, is giving them lots of freedom of choices. And their choice is to either stay in their building and watch that their caregivers are diligently cleaning and prepping their lunch the way that they want them to be done.
That's right.
Or they could be out watching us from behind these trees and just not feel like being on camera today. And that is entirely their option. And I'm going to walk up towards the building while we keep talking just to see if we can hear any chimps.
Okay, well, I'm sure we can. We when at the cabin, if you come by the sanctuary, you go to the gift shop, you can actually hear the chimps from there. So I'm sure if you're at the villa there, you can hear them pretty well. Going towards Harmony, I assume?
I am. Yep, I'll be approaching Harmony here in just another couple seconds, and I will show you all that building. If you haven't been here on a tour before, I am on the walking path where we take our public guests on the tour. And that way, again, it's respectful of the chimp space. They never have to be intruded upon because you can't see them if they don't want to be seen. But you can see their buildings and all of their headshots of who lives there. In this building, of course, the alpha is Kareem, so he's in that top left position. And then this is everyone else in his group in alphabetical order.
And you can see those names at the bottom of your screen as well. But that's the much more aesthetically pleasing list is right there on the side of the building. It's just it's a really cool tour. If you've not done it, you got to come down to the Blue Ridge Mountains and check us out. The fact that Kareem and his troop are there. Obviously, it's supposed to be outside today if they want to be. Ali, when they take a tour, they can upgrade to a lunch launch as well, which we've seen on these Sanctuary Stories episodes before. But obviously, there's not one today, and you can see very little, activity inside the habitat today. Not that necessarily is the requirement, but just it is nice. It's a nice motivating factor for them to come out and grab some radishes and beets and all kinds of fun stuff that gets flung into the sanctuary. How would they grab a lunch launch upgrade if they were to come take a tour of the sanctuary?
So we only do one a day because we can only feed the chimps lunch once a day. So you do want to book, well in advance if that's something on your bucket list to come help feed the chimps from the balcony. And we ask for a $500 donation for a regular standard tour. The lunch launch is a $250 additional upgrade, so $750 for your group of up to 20 guests, any age. We do have assistance with mobility carts. We even have a bus now. So any age, you don't have to do the walking tour. You can do a driving tour. And then you can go up and join us on the lunch launch and help us feed the chimps lunch, but only one a day. So go ahead and book that now if that's something that you think you want to do.
Yeah, the one a day really is a caveat to that. I've actually had several people contact me and just say, hey, we're going to come for the sanctuary. I'm like, it's great. Make sure you get a lunch launch. And they've gone to the calendar, and then like 2 or 3 days in a row, their entire stay, they have not been able to because they either drug their feet or they waited or they didn't know what it was. But it's just it's an unbeatable experience, and I'm not trying to sell you on that. It is an unbeatable experience to see, not only to feed the chimps from the platform with slingshots, which already sounds fun, but the fact that you get unobstructed views of the habitat, and you get to watch them come and go and forage for food and go up and rest on a platform and go jump on a swing or a tire. It's just it's unbeatable, and so it's absolutely recommended. And also, like I said in the last episode too, don't think of this as just your family. So your family traveling to Blue Ridge for the weekend or the summer or whatever that is, and then you bring the kids out and all. Yeah, of course, that's great, and we love that. But think outside the box a little bit. This would be an unforgettable business retreat. So if your group is your leadership team or something like that, you guys always go off site for once a year to go have some sort of team building. This is one they will talk about for years. If you have a church group that you always look once or twice a year to go out and do something in the community or help or whatever the case is, Project Chimps can help you in that regard as well. So do not overlook the fact that you can do a tour here as a group, and then of course you can do the lunch launch as well.
Jeremy, I don't know if you guys can see on my camera, I've turned it towards one of the windows, but we do have a chimp that almost came over. He's walking away now.
Keep it going. Let's see if he can join us here for a second.
Yeah, he's walked out of view for the moment, but we'll see.
Of course.
Back. Of course. And as Jeremy was saying earlier, we were talking about the chimps always have that freedom of choice. So even during the lunch launch, you're only going to feed them half of their lunch. We're still going to serve the other half inside for those chimps that prefer to have their meal indoors, a little bit more peaceful, or they don't want to engage with the public, or they just don't like the weather that particular day. So again, they are never forced to cooperate with any of those types of experiences. It's their choice if they want to. We do have chimps that the moment they see us setting up the slingshots, they know it's coming and they get into their position and they wait for the food. They absolutely love it. But we have other chimps that have never participated because it's just not their thing.
No, yeah, for sure. I was with Brandon Bump, my usual co-host here, a couple weeks ago, and he had probably 9 to 10 chimps out there in the yard for the lunch launch, and I'd never seen that many, even though there was, there's as many as 19 in a villa. It was such a gorgeous day, and everyone had a hankering for food, I guess. I don't know if it was the radishes or what it was, but everybody was out for the most part and doing their part. And it was a lot of fun. And again, an unbeatable experience for those people that got to do that.
Yeah, radishes do seem to be a very popular food item right now.
Radishes, and most people think, like onions bananas obviously are big and all that, but onions are really that's the key, right, Ali?
Yeah, anything with that really strong taste. And we think that's why they do prefer the onions and the radishes and some of the other produce that might have a sharp taste to it, because that's something they really respond to. So they go for it first. They eventually get around to eating their kale, but that's usually the last thing to get picked up.
So we heard some vocalizations there, Ali. Do we have any kind of translation on what's going on?
It sounds like a display, and that's something that the more dominant chimps typically do to just reestablish that they are, big, strong, and can make loud noises. It might just be to settle some sort of angst that might be going on in the group with the lower ranking chimps, or it could be to just announce that they're going to get lunch first today. And everyone needs to stay back.
So when we see kind of quiet days like this in the habitat, even though it's a beautiful day, does that surprise you at all, or no? Because I know in the summertime, obviously when it's like 110 degrees and it feels like 180, it's a little tough to see chimps sometimes because it's so hot outside. And likewise in the cold, right? In the winter when there is actually snow in Georgia and in January or February sometimes around there, it can be difficult sometimes to see the chimps in the habitat because they don't know what the snow is, or they're not curious enough, or it's too cold, or whatever. And their villas are climate controlled, so why go out there when I can stay in here where it's comfortable? But in a particular gorgeous day like this, does this surprise you at all that there's been a lack of activity?
I mean, yeah, yes and no, because I've been here and I do have another chimp approaching the window, so I'm going to turn this around again.
Okay.
I think we're just going to do a drive-by and not come over and say hi, which is of course fine.
Drive-by, yep.
And Jeremy, we're up in the north yard, just so you know. I have moved locations all the way to the north yard.
Okay. Let me see if I can find a north yard camera to put up.
Okay. But yeah, it does not surprise me that these guys are homebodies, right? They were not born in the wild. Grass and outdoors can be kind of scary and unpredictable, and they like the familiarity of watching the humans work. So if there's not a whole lot of excitement going on outdoors, even on a beautiful day like this, they actually tend to stay near their home base and check in on the human activity that's going on, more so than exploring the trees and the grass.
So, Ali, today is Giving Day. Let me go back off this camera so you can go north. There's nothing here, but at least it's north habitat there. So this is Giving Day for Apes. What are our goals today, and how can everybody kind of help us get there? Even if it's a smaller donation, every little bit helps.
Absolutely. So again, we're striving to raise $60,000 today. That is going to be matched by two generous donors at the end of today, assuming we reach our goals. We have a $10,000 match and a $50,000 match. So if we can raise that $60,000 with everyone's, $5, $10, $25, $500 donations that you are able to send our way today during Giving Day for Apes, will be matched. Hopefully by midnight tonight, we will have met that goal. Oh, there's a chimp on your camera, Jeremy.
Yep.
And we'll have raised $120,000, which is amazing. And we are specifically raising these funds for the 6 new male chimps that joined us over the summer. So Jeremy, I don't know if you want to go into a bit on the videos that are available and where folks can find those of the new chimps' arrival on their first day outdoors.
Sure, yeah. So, well, as we look at one of the chimps handled the termite mound here, which, by the way, I find it very curious that we started talking about fundraising, and they're like, "Hey, that's for us," with somebody trying to come make an appearance. The video's available. We shot a video of the transport. So the transport from getting the 6 new males that you mentioned from the lab in Louisiana to sanctuary in Georgia, and then of course we had our amazing friends at Georgia Public Broadcasting. They did an interview with behavior coordinator Chris Dyer about how the introductions are made when the new chimps do come up to the sanctuary. How do they integrate with the chimps that are already existing in that villa? And then, of course, today on Giving Day for Apes, we dropped an amazing video of their first day outside. So the 6 new chimps had never been outside before. They'd never maybe touched grass or felt what a rock feels like, been able to climb a tree, all those things. They've never been able to do those things. They're 20 plus years old each. And so the fact that they got to go do that and we were there to capture those moments, it's pretty special. I encourage you to check that out, of course, on our YouTube channel or on Facebook as well. It's in both locations. Matter of fact, the transport video and the first day outside are both on YouTube and Facebook as well.
Excellent. Oh,
now we have more activity.
Oh, there you got more chimps on your camera. Yep. We'll see if they come around to my window here eventually.
Are they coming towards you there?
They would be, yes. Yeah,
okay.
They would be coming in my direction. So we'll see if they make it around all the way to the bend. For folks that have not been here on a tour, it is 6 acres that is divided in half. So we're on the north end of those 6 acres, 3 acres on this side, 3 on the south where it was when we first started. And there are 8 viewing windows into this particular area that if you came on a tour, you would have the opportunity. You can see a window in the distance on Jeremy's screen there from the field camera. Again, behind me, you can see this is a different window here. And the chimps know the pathway. We always walk in the exact same direction. It's a one-way walking route. So sometimes the chimps know that we're coming and they're eager to see us, and they'll actually run to each of the next consecutive windows and wait for us to show up there again. event that they particularly look forward to is coming up, Jeremy, right? In October 25th and 26th for Chimp or Treat.
Absolutely.
If you are in the area or you can make it to our area, grab a friendly kid that you know, if not your own, with permission, of course, put them in costume and bring them to Chimp or Treat, because it is the chimps' favorite day of the year. They are always at the windows. They are always out and about those days, because for some reason that we do not know why, these particular chimps love children and they love costumes. So you put children in costumes and they don't nap all day. They run and get their food. They bring it to a window for a picnic because they want to see all the next little minions and creatures and wizards and princesses and everything else that's going to come by the windows on the human parade as part of their enrichment program, to give them that environmental stimulation, that they would be seeking in the wild naturally. They wouldn't obviously be looking for children in costumes in the wild, but right, but they might be going on an adventure to look at other species that are migrating through. So that's what we can do here. We can bring different costume children to migrate around their habitat for a couple of days.
Yeah, when I was hired almost 3 years ago, I remember it was either Deanna or you saying, yeah, they seem to love kids in Spider-Man costumes. We don't know why. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of interesting. But then sure enough, my first big event was Chimp or Treat. And they do. The princesses are on the windows and they're looking in with their parents and all that. And you got, Superman over here and this cowboy and robot and they just love the fact that these little tiny humans are wearing odd things. They love it. It's awesome. And again, Ali's right. It's the most affordable way to see the sanctuary. Every kid, it's $10, and then you get one free adult with that. So if you're a family of 3 bringing one child, that's a grand total of, I think it's $45 for all 3 of you to see the sanctuary and experience this for yourself. If you are a family of 4 with 2 children, you have 2 adults, then that's $20, right? So it's the most affordable way to see the sanctuary. You can't beat it, and it's a different kind of unbeatable experience, right? Those are family memories that get made that you can talk about forever in your family. Not quite as the lunch launch is a different unforgettable way, but Chimp or Treat is the most affordable way to see the sanctuary and be able to see everything that goes on and witness the amazement of the chimps for little kids in costume.
So I don't know if you saw, we had another drive-by by a chimp who's doing a perimeter patrol here, it looks like.
Yep, off in the far distance there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have another one, as you can see right here, just hanging out by this window.
Excellent. And if you can't make it to Chimp or Treat weekend, but you can book one of those private tours and your kids like to wear costumes any time of the year.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
By all means, have a big dress-up day and come wow the chimps out of.
Oh, here we go, Al. You should be at that window. Look at this.
Oh, but I'm not over there.
Go to the other one. Yeah, the other says, this place is in my state. I'd love to visit sometimes. You are welcome. Go to projectchimps.org and you can find out. You can sign up there for find out the tour schedule, find out when you're available, compare that with ours, and get you an availability. And come on down. Al, we've got. I know this is Giving Day for Apes, and we'll get back to that in 1 second. But we've got field trips that come through. We've got church groups that come through. Scout groups can do badge stuff here. I mean, we've got a lot of opportunities for the community to enjoy not only the sanctuary itself, of course, and learn about what we do, but also for their benefit as well.
And don't forget, for scout groups, we have a campsite that you can stay for a couple nights to work on your camping badges in addition to doing service projects here at the sanctuary.
That's right. Well, today is Giving Day for Apes, like we've mentioned before. Ali, do you know how much we've raised at the moment?
I know that it is slightly over $12,000. I would love to see that get up to at least $13,000 by the time we close this feed. So if you are watching and you are able to make a contribution today, by all means, you can click the links that Jeremy is going to put up any moment and follow those out and make a donation towards Giving Day for Apes. Again, it is all being matched by 2 generous donors today, a $10,000 match and a $50,000 match. So if we reach our $60,000 goal by midnight tonight, Eastern Standard Time here in Georgia, United States, for the global campaign, we will have actually raised $120,000 for the ongoing care of the 6 new males that we brought in earlier this summer. Now, those males are still being introduced to the original group in Kirk's group in Chimps Ahoy. Those introductions are growing fantastically. Jeremy mentioned earlier, you can watch a small mini documentary, if you will, that Georgia Public Broadcasting and NPR aired for us as they were interviewing Chris Dyer. That was earlier on in the introductions. We are much further along. The females and the males are now meeting each other. Nobody is spending overnight together quite yet. We're almost at that stage where we start letting them have unsupervised overnights together as a new group. It's a very slow process because, again, this is not the wild. They were not raised by their parents and their grandparents to know all the ethics of meeting newbies, if you will, new family members. So our behaviorist and our behavior team that supports her needs to do a lot of careful, observed, slow introductions and supervised visits. But we're almost at that point where we can move away from supervised visits and have those, seamless, flawless overnights and hopefully make it one big group, hopefully by the end of October.
Again, Executive Director Ali Crumpacker is with us today as we celebrate Giving Day for Apes. Ali, how long have you been working with animals in general? And then, of course, how long have you been with the sanctuary?
I mean, technically, I was raised on a small farm. So if you want to say I've been working with animals, but not necessarily for pay, since I was a small child.
That counts.
But one of my first jobs, actually, as a teenager, just during the summer, was as a tour guide through the wild animal safari that's in New Jersey. So that was my first paid gig with working with animals, and I've been on that career path ever since. Worked through working at a veterinary hospital and a nature center, rehabilitation centers, and then into the sanctuary world. And I've been at Project Chimps now for over 8 years.
That's awesome. I'm very rewarding work, I assume.
It is, particularly if a chimp will come over and say hi. But I think we're just going to do a walk by again. But that is at least one chimps here. And sometimes I don't see a single one, which is amazing, again, because it is their choice. And we've given them all of this acreage and forest structure and the opportunities to never be seen if they don't want to be.
Right. That's right. And there are actually a few that don't really like to go outside, actually.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are still a few. We are celebrating Vicky as Vicky's accomplishment this year. She's been here for over 3 years and is finally going outside every single time her group has the access to the habitat. She is going outside and spending her days outside now. But it took her 3 years to figure that out. She just didn't want to. And there's still 2 other chimps in her particular group that came the same time she did that are still not going outside. They might go to the tunnel. They like the porches. They do have these outdoor porches. And you can sort of see one through the window here. And there are some chimp silhouettes, but it might not show very well through this camera angle. So they can sit in the outdoors, but they're not on the grass because, again, that's foreign to them. Grass moves. It's crawling with insects. Yeah. Sometimes it's muddy and you get dirt between your toenails, and that doesn't feel good if you're not used to that. So it's just an unpleasant, dirty, scary environment to animals that have never had that experience for 2 or 3 decades of life. And then you give them this big outdoors, and we want to believe, right, in our heart of heart that they understand that this is a great and positive and wonderful experience. But for them, it's foreign and scary, and they don't have anyone to explain it in a way that they would understand that this is a positive, wonderful experience. They just have to get the courage to do it. And once they do, they never look back. So again, Vicky took 3 years to build up that courage, and she's never looked back. She's never not gone outdoors when she's had that opportunity since she made that decision. It just took her a really long time to decide that this was okay.
And we've seen that with others. Like Gracie took about, I think it was over 7 years to go outside after the first day when she went out. And after that, she was like, not for me, thanks. And then finally 7 years later, now she goes out a lot. So I don't know if it's a maturity issue or what you want to classify it as, but it is interesting that sometimes it just takes time and then they realize it's good, or maybe that it's not, but at least they went out and tried it and they know that it's out there and not scary or whatever. And they can choose to do what they want to do.
Absolutely. It's those amazing moments that we see. It's not to diminish the chimps that they go out the very first day and they go out forever and ever. Like, we don't want to discredit the fact that they have that courage and gusto from day one. But the ones that you can tell have anxiety or fear or some sort of reason that's making them shy away from exploring a new experience, those are the ones that we really have to focus on and try to help them feel more confident in themselves, feel more confident in their group, trust us just a little bit more when we're encouraging them to do things that they are resistant to doing, but we kind of need them, to experience in order to have the best quality of life that we want to offer them here at the sanctuary. And those are the ones that are really rewarding to see and to hear about. I don't get to personally encourage the chimps to do this type of work. That is the caregiver's job. That is their sole goal in their entire position, right, is to give the best welfare to the chimps. But I love hearing the stories from the caregivers when they, share in our WhatsApp group chat that some chimp made a miraculous step forward today, whether it was trying a new food for the first time that they've been offered and refused for a year, or making that monumental step outdoors for the first time. Just the fact that they've made a decision to try something and experience new things in life, because that's what we want them to do, experience everything that we could offer them when they're ready to.
And about the caregivers and their just tremendous work and hearts and all that, you can actually hear that in the video that we dropped today, where that was the wrong one. Sorry, there we go. The video we dropped today about the 6 new males going outside for the first time, being able to go outside for the first time and seeing them explore. You can actually hear not only the joy, of course, in their voices, in the chimp carers' voices, even though they're not on camera, but their passion and desire for them to go and live their best life is evident. Just not even on camera. Just you can just hear it off camera, with their encouragement and with their, again, love for these amazing creatures. And to be able to hear that, I think it does a lot to really solidify the impression that people have of the caregivers, because they're so amazing at what they do. And then to hear them rooting for the chimps that have never been outside before to go outside and really live their best life, it's really heartwarming.
It really is. So now we're getting to the top of the hour, Jeremy. Do we have any questions that have been submitted that folks would like us to answer?
Yeah, as always, always leave your question, you guys. If you have a question at all, this is your time to ask it. Obviously, we're going to be doing this every other week. Our next stream is on Friday, October 17th. And we do have a lunch launch scheduled that day, so you should see plenty more activity than what you're seeing right now. We go live on these Sanctuary Stories episodes at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, and we very much hope that you'll join us for that one as well. I'm not seeing any questions at the moment, Ali, but I know that Holly has done a really great job moderating and putting these little tidbits in here again, like the fact that you can sign up for Chimp Retreat here, right? You can watch the new video that we just dropped today of the 6 chimps going outside here. Like, Holly was doing a great job at doing all that. We talked about Gracie and Vicky earlier. Here's Gracie's link, and here's Vicky's, etc. So we thank you for that. Obviously, if you have any questions, by all means, please put it in the chat. And we are at $12,300 as of right now, as we kind of close out the stream here. Ali, is there any kind of last minute thing you want to say about Giving Day for Apes? To me, it's just a tremendous day of the year. It's obviously our biggest fundraising day of the year, concentrated fundraising day of the year. And the fact that we are competing against, organizations from all over the world is just, it's a fun competition. So obviously we all want to win, but we also all hope for the best for everybody else. But Giving Day for Apes is such an interesting concept, and I absolutely love the fact that we are doing so well and that you guys out there are helping us get to our goal, because we have a goal today of $60,000. So those matches can be engaged, and we can raise $120,000 for the sanctuary today. It's all tremendous.
And I really appreciate everyone who's made a donation during this live stream. If you are catching this after we close the live stream, remember that all the links that Jeremy talked about are live all day long. You can donate all the way up to midnight to help us win those different prizes. You can donate after that. It just helps the chimps regardless. It may not go towards some of the prizes that are happening in today on Giving Day for Apes, but we do rely on your support every single day. We do not receive any government funding. We do not receive any tax funding. It is all thanks to the generous donors like you that are watching this feed, and you're telling people about it. If you can't donate today, we understand times can be tough, but if you're watching this, share it, tell a friend, tell someone else about it, post about the work that we're doing, help inspire someone else to make a donation today. And that is equally as powerful and supports all 101 chimps that are calling Project Chimps a forever home. And you're helping us make sure that we can invite more chimps to move here and experience the Blue Ridge Mountains. We're hoping to do a transport in spring of next year, but we can only do that with your support.
That is very, very true. And if you want to know what that transport is like, you can check out that video on our YouTube or Facebook pages. It is there for you to watch. It's pretty incredible. Misi says, thank you for all you do. So amazing. Thank you, Misi. We appreciate that. And I'm sure you share the sentiment of others, but we just really, really thank you for, just the kind words. And we really, really appreciate that. Again, as Ali said, if you want to donate on Giving Day for Apes or any time of the year, obviously, but Giving Day for Apes in particular, you can go to projectchimps.org and you can click on Bozo's big face there, right? The big hero image, Bozo's right there. You click on that, it'll take you right to the page of how to donate. It'll take you to the video of the transport that we just mentioned, and let's all rally together and unlock that $60,000 matching gift. Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been a special Giving Day for Apes episode of Sanctuary Stories, a bi-weekly live stream where we give you a live look at what's going on inside one of the habitats, even though we haven't seen too much activity today. The next one will be Friday, October 17th, and we do have a lunch launch scheduled, like I said, so we should see a lot more activity, should be a lot more engaging. But again, this is Giving Day for Apes. Please consider donating at projectchimps.org. We will see you on Friday, October 17th. Same chimp time, same chimp channel. Please subscribe to all of our channels, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all those things. We will update you on our progress throughout the day. And thank you once again for all of your support.
Thank you.